What up, Celtic Nation, Green Teamers? Welcome back to the couch. It's your man Bito with another recap, another breakdown of the game today, man. The Celtics improved to 9-2 as we got a victory over the Bucks today in Milwaukee. The Bucks tried to come off strong. Giannis had a strong first quarter. I believe, Dame didn't really do too hot today, but Giannis had a good 43, man. We let Giannis do what he needed to do. Tatum had 30, 12, and 6. Kata, you know what I'm saying, another guy off the bench, man, had 8 and 7. A great game, man. The Bucks, might be in charge. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Peyton Pritchard also had 18 off the bench, 17 in the first half, dog. He was the icing on the Tres Leche cake today. He was doing his thing. But the Bucks, they tried to do their thing in the first half, man. It was up. They went on like a 16-2 run, man. That's like a back-to-back night or back-to-back games where the Celtics struggle in the first quarter. I don't know what's really good with them in the first quarter and everything, but I don't know if that's because they think they can just come back, they start off flat, or like they're just not focused. But defensively, we just didn't look as good, and I've been saying that the last couple of games now. I think since the start of the Warriors, little run here. I think it's like a 3-game trip now where we're like starting off real slow in the first, real sloppy, not focused on the defensive end, and we're just digging ourselves holes that we can't get out of, and we end up just coming back for the most part. But I just don't like that. Now, granted, we only have 2 losses on the season, but as teams adjust and figure out the game plan to stop us, I just feel like that's not something we want to get into as much. But it is what it is because we still ended up, coming back to win tonight's game. Now, the starters still all ended up scoring, so the ball was evenly distributed, between our starters and our players in the first quarter. Everybody scored. They put up 40 points, as in, they being the Bucks, which was a little interesting because, once again, it goes back to the defensive side of things and us not being focused and lack of focus, and us being down and just digging ourselves out of holes. But because we shoot so many threes, which I believe we took 17 threes in the first quarter, but we were still down. But Peyton Pritchard, I believe, started that run. He had, I believe, 3 or 4 threes in the first quarter, which was good to see. Now, first half, we ended up being down, I want to say 11, if I'm not mistaken. I believe we were down 11. Yeah, we were down 69-58. So we still weren't playing that good of defense. We were still just going back and forth, letting Giannis do what he needed to do. Giannis also had some interesting, plays, to say the least, going into the second half, but we'll get into that in a minute. But at the end of the day, we had 0 steals, 0 blocks. They were just kind of doing whatever they wanted to do, and that's why we're down going into the half. But going into the second half, though, it was really good on what we did. We turned up on the defensive end. We started the third quarter with a 12-0 run. Giannis started getting a little dirty with an elbow to Jaylen Brown, which was questionable. They didn't call it. I don't think they called it flagrant. I think they just called a foul. I can't remember. But he also had another flagrant. Actually, I think they called that flagrant, but they didn't call it flagrant that was missed on the Tatum jump shot, and then the Bobby Portis one where I believe you're supposed to let a guy have some room to land, man, and both times they didn't, so that was all questionable. Dame, who didn't have a phenomenal game, but also had four air balls in the game, which was very unlikely to see. But it's the Drew effect. If y'all haven't been paying attention, ever since Drew was in the Pelicans days, he was always strapping up Dame. So anytime I feel like I heard Dame was on the Bucks, I'm like, well, we got Drew now, so I'm not really too worried about that. And you see the results of that at the end of the day. We outscored the Bucks in the third quarter, 29-15, which led to us just basically taking over the game in the fourth. And it was a great thing to watch because, once again, championship DNA does win games. This is all still a part of the 74-8 run. They just can't keep digging themselves into these holes where they need to come back. I feel like they need to act like champions, which, once again, they're still finding ways to win. But this is not the way to win, especially going down into the long latter part of the season and getting into the postseason. There's no such thing as an on and off switch when you watch teams of championship caliber or contending caliber going into the postseason or trying to win the championship, because in the postseason it's the first of 4. And teams can game plan for the on and off switch, I feel like, versus if you're just straight dominant the entire time. So I hope the Celtics kind of take away from the last 3 or 4 games now, and even including the loss in Indiana, where you start off on these slow starts, and you don't. It's mainly because they beat themselves, which is not playing defense. You know what I mean? It's a lack of focus on the defensive end. You're letting teams kind of just get hot, let teams get to these starts, this poor rotations, poor switches, lack of focus there. So it just is a recipe for just digging yourselves out of these holes that you don't want to get into later on in the season. Like, I will definitely emphasize that the more and more the season goes on, especially as I keep watching every game, because this is just what they shouldn't be doing. Now they're winning, but I don't like watching that, knowing that you're going to go into the postseason probably doing the same thing, and you never know what could happen. Like, you can have one injury, you can have anything happen in the season, in the playoffs, where you can't have that on and off switch and just be doing this stuff. Now, I know you're the best team in the league, but you can't have that entitlement because, I think Perkins might have said this, but I feel like he's been saying nobody's afraid of the Boston Celtics. And we're not saying nobody's afraid of the Boston Celtics, but they're not at that space yet, because everybody can get one and everybody's still gunning for you. But in order for you to have that type of swagger, you have to come out this next season and just, like they did in the first 4 or 5 games, dog, like put your foot on dudes' necks. You know what I mean? Like, go up 30 really early. You know what I mean? Like, make it not reachable early in the game, especially because you want to rest your guys. Like, that's the main point of things, too. You want to be able to rest your guys at the end of the day and not have them playing not meaningless minutes, but excessive long minutes, knowing that your main guys have played 6 seasons of postseason basketball, including Olympics, dog. Like, you don't want them just burning themselves out come game 6 in the second round or something, you know what I mean? And you're down 3-2 or something. Like, you don't want to be in that predicament. And the best part about this is that we still don't have Porzingis. So I can't wait for Porzingis to come back to kind of throw off what the defense is already trying to do against us, because now when you throw that in, there's nothing you can really do, because now the rotation changes. Porzingis gets more playing time. You have more of a mismatch and more of a disadvantage because you have nothing that can stop a 7'4" shooter, defensive specialist, and everything. And the emergence of Kata helps that a lot too, because now with Porzingis probably coming back on minute restrictions, you still have that 7-footer, because that's the main part too, is that you have a 7-footer. Now, I believe Kornet's a 7-footer, but like I said in previous discussions about the Celtics, is that you have 3 different centers and everything that can do 3 different things. And Kata's the type of guy that, more and more minutes that you get, you can see that he's able to kind of rotate on those switches when they want to get him on an island, and he's able to just kind of, get meaningful minutes and meaningful, moments and impact the game. But I also feel like he has to get stronger with the ball, which is something that I feel like, or I hope that they work on in practice, because what I've noticed is that every time he does get it or they dump it to him, if he's not getting it clean, or, on an alley-oop, he's getting it and they're knocking it away from him. So I hope that he's able to just control the ball a little bit more, because that does create buckets out, like turnovers do come out of buckets, you know what I'm saying? Or, sorry, buckets do come out of turnovers. So I'm hoping that tightens up for Kata, especially as he's getting more and more playing time. So hopefully he's able to get just stronger with the ball. But, the 74-8 train is still going. The ride's still here, dog. We still got, 74, 78-4. 74-8 is still going. We still got like 6 more losses, dog. This ride's not stopping. So until then, dog, don't forget to like the video, comment, share, subscribe. I'll be back with another one. I'm out of here. Peace.